Sometimes people ask me why I am pro-life. To answer that question, I'd like to tell you a story about some people whom I have never really met, but whose history became tied up with mine many years ago. Part of the story is made up of little details that I've gleaned over the years, and part of it is made up of things that I've told myself over the years. And I've told myself this semi-true story so many times that I don't know how to separate the facts from the fiction anymore. And the truth is, I don't really worry about that too much. But some years ago, a girl from a little Kansas town not far from here was seeing a guy from Oklahoma. I hear it was kind of a serious relationship and that at one point they even talked about getting married. As far as I know, they never did. It was just one of those relationships that come and go along the way. But she was in college back then, studying music and living the life of an 18-year-old in the world, living the dream that every 18-year-old dreams, to be in college and free, off to become whatever we can make of ourselves. Those paths of a girl from a small Kansas town and the guy from Oklahoma crossed a few more times again, and before they diverged, the girl ended up pregnant. Now, it seems like a normal story now, but it was a traumatic one then. This was 1978, just 5 years after Roe versus Wade, and Kansas was part of one of those first 11 states to liberalize abortion laws after the ruling. Having an abortion would have been an easy decision. An unmarried mother, unable to care for a baby, an out-of-town father who had his own life to lead, both in a panic, both scared, both confused, desperate, and faced with a set of decisions that they weren't prepared to make, that they didn't want to make, and to which neither one of them could fully commit. Having an abortion would have been an easy decision, I'm sure. She was just a college student and didn't have any means to care for a baby, and at 18 years old, she's just a kid herself. Abortion would have been the easy decision. But she did not make that easy decision. Instead, she made just about the hardest choice that 18-year-old girl had ever made in her entire life. She decided to have that baby and put the young infant up for adoption. It was all handled by the doctors and the lawyers. All she had to do was make it 9 months, give birth, and walk away. Other people would pay for all of it. All of it. The medical fees, the childbirth, the legal arrangements, the responsibilities of raising that little baby, of clothing him, of feeding him, of picking him up when he fell, of teaching him how to ride a bike, of sending him off to Boy Scout camp, of buying his first car, sending him off to college, seeing him get married and start his own family and live for the rest of his life. Even though I've given this speech dozens of times and to hundreds of people, this is always the part that gets me. Because if you haven't figured it out yet, that little baby boy was me. 35 years ago, one scared and confused, expectant mother gave me the best birthday present I would ever get. She made a sacrifice that to me means everything. That woman took the hard way out rather than the easy way out. She knew that being pregnant was more than a panic, and it was more than a problem to be fixed at the clinic. It was a little baby boy, not a problem to be fixed. And now, 3.5 decades later, that little baby boy stands before you now. And I owe it all to a woman whom I have never really met. A woman who had the same choice that women have in her same situation today. She did not make the easy decision, she made the hard one, and God bless her for it. Now, before you ask, yes, I've always known I was adopted, and no, I've never had any of those traumatic experiences that you hear about, and I've never tried to contact my biological mother or my biological father, and no, I've never had any serious urge to do so. The people to whom I refer as my mother and my father are the people that raised me, and to whom I am eternally and lovingly grateful. But as I stand here all these years later, I want to say a word of thanks. Thanks to some people who were pro-life, it would have been so easy to get an abortion. God bless them. It's meant everything to me.